The library was the von Uberwald's collection of obscurities. Perhaps I could turn it to my advantage. I leafed through a copy of Laws and Ordinances of the cities of Ankh and Morpork. Fascinating stuff. I learned that there was a law that made it a crime to walk ducks across the brass bridge. You had to wonder why it was necessary to pass a law like that. I picked a book at random. Ahmed the I Just Get These Headaches Book of Humorous Cat Stories. There was something very disturbing about it. I found a rare copy of Fullamith, an invaluable aid for all those whose business is with the arcane and hermetic. It contained lots of things that don't exist and, in a very significant way, aren't important. So many books to choose from. I couldn't help but think I might do better to look up something specific. I found a copy of Stripfettel's Believe It or Not grimoire. I learned that the average dung beetle ate more than its own weight in dung each day, but nothing that was going to help me. I could probably pick random books indefinitely if I wanted, but I figured it might be more useful if I looked up something specific. I grabbed a book from the shelves. Jane's All the World's Siege Weapons. Fascinating stuff. If I was planning to storm a castle and I had the defense budget of a small barony. My hand fell upon the Dictionary of Eye-Watering Words. It lived up to its name. I skimmed through the section of the library that looked the most used. I found a copy of The Joy of Tantric Sex, with illustrations for the advanced student. It raised an interesting question as to which of the von Uberwald household had thumbed the pages so thoroughly. I found a copy of My Life Among the Sponge-Eating Coral House-Dwelling Pygmies by General Sir Roderick Purdy. It was no help at all. Although I appeared to be alone, I found it hard to believe I wasn't being watched. I wouldn't trust me with all those valuable books, and the butler certainly didn't. The books were all neatly indexed by a vast series of cards in a wooden case. It looked like the von Uberwalds were using an ancient version of Huey's octal system of indexing. It was complicated, but I reckoned I could at least use it to find out what books they had on a particular subject, and then wander around until I saw a bookshelf with the right number on it. I could mess up the filing system, I suppose, if I wanted the butler to eviscerate me with sarcasm the next time I saw him. A far better plan would be to use the index to look up a book on a particular subject. I was looking for a book that would tell me something about Carlotta when I stumbled upon The Complete Bloody History of Uberwald. In it was the story of Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald, who was betrothed to Vlach the Impala, most feared of the undead antelope. She betrayed him and married into the von Uberwalds instead, causing a minor peasant uprising. The whole history of Uberwald seemed to be a series of peasant uprisings. There was nothing about Al-Khali himself, but there was a copy of Frescoes and Fatal Traps of the Temples of Al-Khali, which was less than enlightening. I wondered if I was ever going to find out the origin of his name. But then I read the line, "The city of Al-Khali is also known for its wind, blowing from the vastness of the deserts and continents nearer the rim. A gentle yet persistent breeze. It carries aromatic messages from the heart of the continent, compounded of the chill of the deserts, the stink of lions, the compost of jungles, and the flatulence a wildebeest. Well, it was a working theory, at least. The best book I could find for tracking down the mysterious bestial attacker was Philo's Bestiary, but there was nothing in it that sounded remotely like what Gable had described to me. Finding a book on swords wasn't as difficult as I thought. I even found a tome on gold blades. 1001 Golden Swords, the complete story of gold swords throughout history. Unfortunately, it wasn't very helpful. None of the books on jewels or antiquities I could find said anything about a gold-plated jewel. I couldn't write off the possibility that there was something in the library that I hadn't managed to find, though. If I knew what it was called, it'd be easier. The only literature I could find on errata in the library was a leaflet published by Malaclips, who gave his permanent address as the only really holy corner of the Temple of Small Gods. Whatever the coin was, I couldn't find anything about it here. I found a copy of Orange Crates on the Nature of Plants. The book was a tediously detailed study of the plant kingdom, and one of the most boring things I've ever read. But I found the moss in there. Apparently it was a lycanthrope, a type of animate moss with crude locomotion, found only in the worst sewers in the most decrepit urban areas. Apparently the lycanthrope looked like harmless moss until something to eat walked by. Then they transformed into a deadly lichen and devoured their prey, at least as long as it was small enough. Otherwise, they just clung on for dear life.
Who would Sir like to see this time?
Do you know anything about the sewers beneath Ankh-Morpork?
Sir would have to consult the library on that.
So, Carlotta is a werewolf.
The young mistress's various shapes are not my concern, sir.
Reagan's dead.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Let me know if his condition improves.
I'll be going then.
Delighted to hear it, sir.